Hi friends! Hi, I'm Angie, Tiny House Stitcher. This is my Flosstube number 2 and I'm so glad you're here with me. What a ride this has been. Oh my gosh, it's been so much fun. Sophie's here. I'm sure she'll be moving around and everybody will get a chance to see her. Wow, the last 2 weeks have been amazing. I cannot, you hear Flosstubers talk about how wonderful this community is. I don't think you really get it unless you're kind of a recipient of it. So just thank you so much to everyone who's commented, everyone who's watched, everyone. I received emails. I received my very first comment was from Brenda of Brenda and the Cereal Starter. I might have squealed like a 6-year-old at Disneyland, but what a joy this has been. I just had so much fun. So thank you so much. I hope you keep coming back. I hope you enjoy what I show you. And I've had so much fun connecting with all of you. So today I have a lot to show you. I made notes because I have so much. So the first thing I want to do is thank Janet of Janet Jabber, as well as Ymir with Almond M&Ms. They both shouted me out in the Common Threaded Stitchers new Flosstuber prompt. So what an honor. It was wonderful. So thank you. And if you were referred to me, or if you've heard about me from someone else, I would sure love it if you'd let me know who, so that I can thank them personally. That would be great. Thank you. For those of you who watched my first video, I'm so sorry that it was backwards. I have been doing some research and learning a lot, and I'll be using some new tricks during this video. But generally speaking, I'm going to try to keep the editing to a minimum. So this one, you'll have quite a few little things, inserting some pictures and comments and things like that. But in the future, I'm going to try to keep it to a minimum. But you will be able to see it. There will be no backwards reading skills required. Fingers crossed. Today I'm going to show you some of my past finishes. I'll also give you a Stitchy update, show you some haul. Yes, I did buy myself some birthday presents. What are you going to do when market happens during your birthday? I have no choice. And also at the very end, I'm going to show you some tiny house pictures and answer some questions. I've had a lot of interest, a lot of people asking to see it. So I'm going to show you what I have, but we'll get into that later. So this month has been a very busy Stitchy month. As you all know, market happened 2 weekends ago, and wow, the talent is just never ending. I just am surprised every time I see these new releases happening. Just gorgeous work. So yes, I have some things coming. I didn't pre-order anything, but I have some things coming. Also, there was the Steel City Stitchers March Stitchy Madness 2022, which I participated in. That was so much fun. I've never done that before, so that was a blast. And then Common Threaded Stitcher. If you're not familiar with that, follow the tag Common Threaded Stitcher on Instagram. And there's a group of Flosstubers and other Stitchy folks who work as a team to put together prompts every day in the month of March and help us connect with each other. Like questions like, what does your Stitchy spot look like? And what is your most desired pattern? And things like that. So it's a lot of fun to get to know other Stitchers. I really love it. It's been fun. I've been a little busy, haven't been able to participate as much as I would like to, but you don't have to. You can participate when you can. So it's a great little program. I really love it. So we're going to get into a few of my past finishes, and I'm not sure, I guess I can't move over much more than this, but I will be putting in some pictures of some of my finishes. And this first one is one that I did probably in my late teens and early 20s for my sister. And it was a big piece for me at the time. I mean, it's a fairly big piece, but it's mostly back stitched. It's footprints in the sand. I believe it was a Leisure Arts pattern, but I'm not positive. And so this is still hanging at my sister's house now. So it was well received and it's well loved. The other one that I did recently, I finished this one in May. I started it was one of the first ones I started back in October, not last year, but the year before. So I finished it this last May, and it was interesting for one of my first efforts. If I knew then what I know now, I would not have chosen it, because it's almost 50% Kreinik. And so it was a labor of love for sure. It was a gift. I'll show you two different pictures here, one of the whole thing and one kind of a close-up. I did replace one of the large, I should tell you what it is. This is Crosses of the Kingdom. Oh, where's my little notes? Sorry, guys. That one was Crosses of the Kingdom by Rosewood Manor. I stitched it on 18 count white opalescent Aida, and I used the called for flosses. I didn't use Kreinik though. I did use the DMC gold thread. It was a joy to work on, and it turned out beautifully. So my next one is Project Quarantine. This one is by With Thy Needle and Thread, and it's stitched on a Zweigart Newcastle linen in the color light hazelnut. It's 40 count, and I didn't really make too many changes. Let's see. I did change the color of this lady's dress, because if you watched my last one, you know I'm a big purple fan. So I finished it with, I bought this, it's like a chenille yarn that I just bought at Joann Fabrics. And then I cut a slit in the back and filled it that way and put my little charm on the back. And for my pillows, most of my pillows, I use both lizard litter and the stuffing. I can't remember the name of it. You know what I mean, the stuffing. So they sit really well, but they're also soft and they don't weigh a ton. So I kind of fill the lizard litter or crushed walnut shells towards the bottom so that it sits right. And then the top is more fiberfill. That's what it is. So there's that one. The next one I have is a strawberry. This is from the book Deck the Halls from Blackbird. And I think there's 6 strawberry patterns in this one. And so this was my first strawberry. It's got some fuzzies on it. So it was my first one. It turned out really well. I packed it pretty hard with those walnut shells too. And I made my own stem. I just took some scrap felt and wrapped it with some floss. So that's that one. And before I move on, I noticed in some of my close-ups from last time, I kind of cringed a little. So I just wanted to let you know that I am not a perfect stitcher. I have no desire to be a perfect stitcher. You'll never catch me railroading floss, or, you know, I'm an in-hand stitcher. I like to do it quickly, so that's why I stitch that way. And, you know, obviously if there's something major that goes wrong, I'm going to fix that. But my stitches aren't perfect, so it is what it is. I think they're great, and they're for me, so it doesn't really matter. So I just wanted to put that out there. And I did see a big old dog hair on one of them too. And yes, that's going to happen, because this one, I could knit a sweater with the fur from her. Okay. Next one is Honest Abe. And this one, well, I call it Honest Abe. I think it's just Abraham Lincoln. This one is from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. I believe it was spring of 2015. And I did make some changes to it. So this is my Abe. I changed the red to a little bit darker red. I moved the cabin over closer to Abe a little bit. and I changed the wording. It says, be sure you put your feet in the right place and then stand firm. And I put his little signature on there. So yeah, I love that one. He turned out great. Many of you, if you watched my last one, you know I have an affinity for Abe. Again, I did the slit in the back to stuff it, and I made a little top hat and covered it with that out of wool felt. Yeah, that one was fun. Okay, I'm going to put a picture up of another one that I did. This one is Suffrage Act by Little House Needleworks. I started this in February of 2021 and finished it in March of 2021. It's on 40 count old Massachusetts using the called for colors. And this is one that I donated to the Daughters of the American Revolution for their silent auction. So I may have to stitch that one again. I just love that one. So that's Suffrage Act. Okay, the next one is Frosty's Night Out by Blackbird Designs. Love him. He's so cute. So I made that one into an ornament. And this one is on 22 count Ada that I dyed myself. The only things I changed were I rounded his head a little. His head had like a flat spot. So I rounded that out a little bit. And I changed the red to Gentle Arts Cherry Bark. I think that's it. Those are the only changes I made. I just love him. I kept the pattern for this one too because I think I might make him for gifts. So that's Frosty's Night Out. This one I'll show you a picture of. This one was a gift from my mama. This is Sweet Land of Liberty by Cherry Hill Stitchery. And I did that one on 18 count raw opalescent Ada. I just chose, that's cute. I chose my closest colors from my stash. So I stitched from stash on that one. Took me about a month and a half to finish that one. I love that one. Cherry Hill Stitchery is so good. Okay, the next one is My Soul is Fed with Needle and Thread. This was another, this one was also in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. Let's see. I thought I wrote down, sorry, I thought I wrote down which one it was from. Oh yes, Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine, fall of 2015. And this one, I did some chenille again on the sides, and I just sewed it up at the bottom and then covered it with the chenille. So it has a little sewing machine and a year charm on the back. So that's My Soul is Fed. And I think I changed the colors on this one too. I didn't write it down, but you know I'm a purple girl, so. The next one is His and Hers Thanksgiving Stockings by Plum Street. I love these. Here they are. How cute are those? They're only, I'd say, what, 6 or 7 inches tall. And the chart called for, one said his and hers. I charted some little borders and put those on instead. I did change the colors a little bit. I don't have a lot of information about that, but these are stitched on 36 count pale parchment by Fabric Flair. I love these. So cute. So now I've been buying other stocking patterns. I just love the idea of stockings for other than Christmas. You know, having, obviously, you saw Olga last time, but we'll talk more about that too. Okay. The next one is Playing with Jacks by the Cricket Collection. Here's my version. On Cricket Collection's website, you can get this alternate pumpkin. This is an alternate pumpkin design. The one that it had was a jack-o'-lantern, and I don't stitch so much I do some Halloween, but mostly I try to leave it fall so that I can leave it out all season long. And this is a flat fold. So this was my first flat fold. I love it. And this one is on 36 count Cafe au Lait by Fabric Flair. And I use the called for colors. That's playing with Jacks. This one is called October's Party by Little House Needleworks. And here is my version. I just love this so much. When I read the poem, that's why I had to do it, because I just loved it. It says, October gave a party, the leaves by hundreds came, the chestnuts, oaks, and maples, and leaves of every name. And, oh, sorry, the sunshine spread a carpet, and everything was grand. Miss Weather led the dancing, Professor Wynne the band. I love that one. So that stays out all autumn. I backed it with this plaid, and I put it on kind of an angle so that I didn't have to line everything up. But I didn't put it on a 90-degree angle, so it makes the whole thing look like it's off kilter a little bit. So lesson learned on that one, but it still looks great. I love it. So again, that's October's Party by Little House Needleworks. So I said I don't do a whole lot of Halloween, but this is one that I did last year. This is A Stitcher Haunts Here by the Witchy Stitcher. Here it is. This is on 22 count Aida that I hand dyed. I was going for a murky look, so with some purple. I did change the white DMC to the glow in the dark DMC, which is kind of fun. And I did change some of the black to étoile, so it sparkles a little bit. Cute. It's on a little headstone kind of wooden piece. So that's A Stitcher Haunts Here. This little guy cracks me up, this next one I'm going to show you. This was a free pattern from the Mama Witch Crossed Mama Witch X Stitch Facebook page. He is so funny looking. I call him the Angry Turkey. So he goes out in the fall as well. I just love him. I didn't write down anything about what I stitched it on, but I did use the called for colors. I did use, I think I used étoile in the bubbles, but you can't really tell. I don't know if I would do that again. And he did have some swirlies up here, and I think bull horns or something, so I left those off and just stitched him. I love him. She's got some amazing free patterns on that Facebook page, so I encourage you to go check her out. Again, it is Mama Witch X Stitch Facebook group. She's got some great ones on there. Okay, these are fun. These are called Phrases de Noël. I'm not sure I'm saying that right. Phrases for French. By Tralala. Sorry. Santa, the Santa one. This one is a strawberry. You can see, I think you can see, I used whisper thread in Santa's beard and hit the hem of his coat. Santa is stitched on a 36 count Edinburgh linen in the color flax. And these are packed pretty tight too. I was really proud of how these turned out. These turned out great. And I found a stick that worked perfectly. So that's Santa. And then there's the snowman. Snowman was stitched on 36 count Edinburgh linen in the color Heather. I used all the called for colors except I do love my etoile. I did the snowman and the snowflakes all in etoile. So that's the snowman. Love that one too. This is pretty much all I've done. There have been a couple that I've given as gifts that I don't have a record of or pictures of, but for the most part, this is kind of everything I've done. This one's got fuzz on it, but this one is Dancer by Barbara Anna Designs from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher Winter 2021. And Dancer did not have a red nose, so I made it Rudolph. And I just love the way this turned out. It's so cute. This one's stitched on 32 count Zweigart Lugana in the color Basalt. That's the one that has the little dots on it. Because I thought that looked like snow. I think that might be what she used in the model as well. And I just filled it from behind or underneath and put a charm on the back. Okay. This one is Mr. Flanagan by Autumn Lane Stitchery. I don't have a whole lot of St. Patrick's Day, but he is so cute. I love these. They have a whole series of these. They have Santa and Mrs. Claus, Frosty, and they have two brand new elves, a little boy and a little girl, and Uncle Sam. So yeah, that's Mr. Flanagan. Nothing on the back. And I made this covered button to go with it. I love him. Okay, and then the last one I have is, I don't have any information on it. This is Buzz Off. This is my spirit animal. This is by Plum Street. There's another one called Eat Crow that I want to do too, but I love this one. It turned out so cute. I used all the called for colors. I did use some, probably some DMC thread in the crown just to make it sparkle a little. So that's Buzz Off. So that's all the finishes that I have to show you right now. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my Stitchy update, what I've been up to the last couple of weeks. So I mentioned that I participated in March Madness, and that was so much fun. If you don't know what that is, go check out Steel City Stitchers Flosstube. They have a video just about March Madness and how it works. But I'll show you mine. I'm just going to show you in pieces so you can walk through it with me. So what you do is you get the brackets. They have a sheet that you can print out, and you fill in a whip and a new one, and a whip and a new one, and a whip and a new one. And each week you put them in a poll on Instagram, or you can post it on your Facebook and ask people to vote, however you want to do it. And then whichever one is chosen, that's the one you stitch on. So a lot of folks stitch on them all first and then post them, but that would have added 8 more days to the whole process, which I wasn't ready to do. So what I did was I just took them from the very beginning and I put them on a poll on Instagram. So the first 2 that I had were, ooh, that's a bad glare, When Life is Done by Silver Creek Samplers. And this one says, I love you just as much today as when you died and flew away. I'll not be sad nor shed a tear. Your memories will linger near. We'll meet again when life is done and soar away beyond the sun. So that's that one. And that was up against this Big Mama Jamma. I showed this one in my last video. So those 2 went up against each other. And the winner was When Life is Done. So this is something that I had started, but I didn't show you my last video because it's a gift. for my mom, and I knew my mom would want to see my first floss tube, but I think she's over it now, so so I'm going to show it to you. So this is how far I am. I've been working on this for a while, and I did change, this was a cardinal, and I changed it to a dragonfly because that's our family's symbol for my dad. So I have the lady to put in down here, and I need to finish this and some more words over here, and then I'll be all done. So I worked 2 days on this before I moved on to the next bracket. So the next one was, my whip was Olga's stocking. And it was up against Winter Rose Manor, which would have been a new start. And I showed in my last video, I'm going to make this Winter Lilac Manor, and I have some other colors. So if you want to look at that, you can see that in my last video. And the winner was Olga's Autumn Stocking. There's stuff everywhere. And you guys, I have a finish. I did it! Woohoo! So here's Olga's Autumn Stocking, all finished. I ran out of whitewash in the last 2 lines of that pumpkin, so luckily it came in yesterday and I was able to finish it off. Now this is the one we talked about in the last video about whether I should change the back stitching on these stars to make it a little bit lighter. And you know, when you get to the end of a project, the last thing you want to do is go back and rip any of it out. So I left it the same. I only had 1.5 to add, which was this one and half of this one here. So I just left it, and I did go in and backstitch just a really light backstitch around the house, and I do like the way that came out. So it's a finish. Now I need to figure out how to fully finish it. We'll see how that goes. But they're really beautiful when they're done. I've seen a couple of them. So yay, Olga got done. And really that's kind of the goal of March Madness is to FFO one. So that one got done a little later. It was chosen in this one, and it was chosen in a future bracket, and that's when I finished it. The next one was Women of the Mayflower versus I Search for an Ancestor. And this one says, I search for an ancestor who would have been considered a suffragette, healer, a witch, mystic, a queen. Which I really want to start that soon. But that's not the one that won. This one is the one that won. Women of the Mayflower. And I haven't done any more. This actually happened before I did my last Flosstube. So it's still where it was the last time we talked. So I still haven't done any of the changes to the back stitching that we talked about last time. I think I'll probably do the same, leave them alone, and maybe backstitch the chickens down here in something a little bit lighter so they're not quite as stark. So that was the third week, and each of these I put in 2 days before we moved on to the next. Oh shoot, I ironed this, but I crinkled it all back up again. Okay, so the next one was 'Tis the Season by Blackbird Designs, which would have been the new start. I love this one. And I'll be doing that one in silks. Against Christmas Delivery, which was my whip. And the winner was Christmas Delivery. So, I ironed this, but it's all wrinkly again. So, last time we talked, I had just about half of Santa's coat done. So I finished the coat and his boots and this part of the sleigh. So I worked on that one quite a bit. I also, this snowflake, I had used, for some reason I had used 2 strands of a toile in that. You can't see that very well here, but I took that out and redid it with one strand, and it looks much, much better. And you can see it much better in person. So I'm excited about this one's coming along. And this one was one of my WIPGO calls for the month too. So it worked out really well. I was able to, you know, kill two birds with one stone. And then we went into stage 2 of the brackets, which was When Life is Done against Olga. And Olga won. That's what I was talking about. I finished that one. That's when I finished it. And then Women of the Mayflower went up against Christmas Delivery. And Christmas Delivery won. And so that's why I was able to get so many days in on that one. So I did 4 days on both Olga and Christmas Delivery. And I wanted to show you my WIPGO board. If you don't know what WIPGO is, go check out Jessie Marie Does Stuff on Flosstube. This is her brainchild, and she has some videos all about how it works. You'll notice I have projects in here that are not necessarily cross stitch. I have a wool applique one, 2 of them. I think this is one too. So this one is pink because Olga's done and it hasn't been called yet. And then down here, I think it's this one. Yes, this one was also Olga, and I went in and changed it to another chart that I'm waiting for. So the way I do it is when they're purple, that means the dark purple means they were called and I accomplished the goal. The light purple means that's this month's called numbers. So I'm working on Christmas Delivery, and I'll be working on Let Freedom Ring. So and what I usually do for these is 5 days for each one. There's a couple in there that are like an ornament, finish an ornament of any kind. So that's how I do mine. But these are a lot of fun. They kind of keep you on track and make you pick up some things that you might not normally pick up. So that's my WIPGO board. So last time we talked was my birthday, and I had a birthday new start planned. This was one that I had picked up at the Attic Needlework, and Jean Lee talked me into her famous 56 count with silks. So this is the pattern. Oh, where'd it go? This is the pattern that I started on my birthday. This is Summer Schoolhouse out of the Lessons in Abecedarian series. This is lesson 1. This will be lesson 2, lesson 3, and lesson 4. And here's a picture of them all together. They're so beautiful. So I did start. This is on a piece of 56 count baked clay. And here's my start. I started, this is 3 days, guys. 3 days worth. And it was tough. I mean, it wasn't as bad as long as this was the first piece I picked up for the day. If I was trying to work on something 40 count and then switch over to this, I thought my eyes were going to fall out of my head. But this one, as long as that was the first one I picked up, it went well. It went really well. And the silks, I had a couple people ask me about the silks. You know, I've heard a lot of people complaining about it getting caught on your hands. My hands are very dry and I have cuticle issues and all kinds of ugly stuff, but I haven't had that problem. So I'm sure it's an issue, but I haven't had the problem. So this has been a joy to work with. The silks are beautiful. I'm so excited to get this finished and work on the whole series. They're going to be teeny tiny, which is what I love about them, this 56 count. So yeah, I'm going to keep working on that. I was excited about that. And I did have another new start. So 2 new starts this month. This one's a little off color, so I'm warning you now. I'm just going to hold it up and let you read it. So the story behind this is my sister took an old armoire, like an entertainment armoire, and she turned it into a coffee bar. And so that pattern is absolutely my sister's sense of humor, and she asked for something in teals and reds. So this is what I've done on this one. This is 3 days worth, and this is on a, I think this is on a 28 count. Sorry. So I just used a DMC, one of their variegateds, and this teal is from Threadworks, number 010581. It's beautiful. So yeah, that's working out really well. That's for her. That shouldn't take too long. She's so funny. So that was my second start. So it's been a very productive month for me. Very busy, but very productive. Not to mention I started my first Flosstube. Right? It was amazing. So, oh, before I move on, I wanted to show you my Stitchy calendar. So this is the one I chose. It's just a calendar that I got on Amazon. It's by Orange Circle Studio. And when I started it, I started using these like puffy, these three-dimensional, I don't know if you can see that, these three-dimensional stickers. And I thought, how neat would it be if it was all chunky and, you know. So I used those for a couple of months. And then it got hard to write on. So I went back to flat ones. This is my February. And at the end of the month, I put over here what my final numbers were. I had 2 starts, 3 finishes, and 5 FFOs in February. And then March is on its way. And I put in here, first Flosstube on my birthday. That was fun. So that's my Stitchy calendar. And then earlier when I was showing you my finishes, I wanted to show you how I've been tracking things now, and I'll show you with this one. I printed out these little cards. I just bought some ephemera online on Etsy, and then I printed out some kind of, you know, blanks to fill in. So I have pattern name, designer, start date, finish date, fully finished date, linen, and then any notes on color changes that I have on this. And I chose this size for a reason. So this is what I was reading from earlier. This is my little journal. So anytime I finish one of those projects, I just slap a picture on there and put it in my book so that I always have a record of my finishes. So all the ones that I just showed you, some of the smalls I don't fill them out, so I just kind of write the information in there. But yeah, sometimes I use a lot of pictures. So that's been fun. And it's a beautiful little purple leather journal. Really pretty. So that's that. I just wanted to show you that. Okay, haul. So it was my birthday, right? It was my birthday. No judging. I could buy myself some presents. Excuse me while I lean in for a second. And it was Market, but I don't have all of those in yet, but I'll let you know what they are. So the first one really, it's not really cross stitch, it's kind of cross stitch adjacent. Last time we talked, I told you I'm a huge Abe Lincoln fan. So I bought this. I love this so much. This is a 11 by 14 print of a Teresa Kogut artwork. And I mean, Abe. They don't make them like they used to. And I bought this frame at Hobby Lobby. And I just think it's perfect. I'm so excited. So yeah, that was one of my purchases. Love Abe. And then I got some Market releases, obviously. This one I had to have. There we go. Yep. That doesn't need any more said. I love that one. This one is Keeper of the Pins by Brenda with Thy Needle and Thread. And I'm planning to make a needle book out of it using this on the front and this on the back for a smalls exchange. And these are so pretty. I just love these. I knew I would love it when I saw it, but you know, when you get it in hand, it always looks better. I just love these. Anyway, of course, resting stitch face. I had to get that one. Yes, I did. And this one is Hive Rules by Primrose Cottage Stitchers. Ooh, that's blowing out really bad. This one is so cute. And in my family, my grandmother's name was Bee and her favorite color was yellow. So bees have always been kind of the family's symbol for my Nana. And this one just really spoke to me. So I'm excited about this one. This one I've already kitted. So I'm gonna start this one pretty soon. And this is the fabric I bought. This is 28 count. I'm sorry, I'm not wearing my glasses because the ring light glares in them. So something Hive even weave fabric. So I don't know if you can see that. There we go. It's a hive. So that's the fabric I bought for it. And I already have all the threads. So I will be starting this very soon. The other one that I'm going to warn you now, by the time you see me again, I probably will have already started it, is Let Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. I am so enamored with that pattern. I think it's just gorgeous and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. So that's on its way and I'm working on gathering the threads for that. And the other pattern that I bought this last 2 weeks was from Stitchy Princess, Ukrainian designer. I just love this pattern. Let me see if I can turn this down a little bit. There we go. This is the sunflowers. I am going to change her dress to blue. And I just think this is so beautiful. And how can you resist when you're supporting folks that are in so much need right now? So I bought that. So that's my haul. My plans are to finish my Whip Go goal for this month. So I need one more day on Christmas delivery. And then I need 5 days. I'm running out of time. 5 days on Let Freedom Ring, which is my second Whip Go call. And I showed this last time, but it was backwards. So I thought I would show it again. I am not any farther. I'm in the upper left-hand corner. And right now I'm starting on the trees. And the building will be next. I do have the border down to the bottom of the page. But just so to put my mind at ease that I had enough fabric, essentially. So I will be working on this for 5 days, and I did do my own thread conversion, and I didn't show you these last time. So these are my threads. And that one is being stitched on 40 count Newcastle unnamed color from We Will Die For You on Etsy. The number is 1086. That's the color of the fabric. It has a number instead of a name. And here's the threads. Okay. Those are my plans. Okay, I forgot to thank those of you who have been to my Etsy shop and have purchased bags. I'm so grateful. I hope you love them. I got some really good feedback. So I wanted to show you a couple of them really quickly. This is not a bag selling Flosstube, so this will probably be the only time I do it, but I just kind of wanted to show you a couple of them and show you how they're made, because many of you have seen these. These are, you know, the project bags that I started making a long time ago. They're quilted. You know, they're nice, but they're flimsy and they kind of fall over when you hold them. And so the bags that I make now are much sturdier. I make them with foam instead of batting. So you can see they're much less flexible, less floppy. These are great because if you put them on a bookcase, they'll stand up. That's kind of how I store mine, especially my overflow when I have it. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of show you the bags that I have. I've also changed them where it used to be that there was a thin stripe down below the zipper and a larger stripe up here, but it's harder to get your materials in and out with that big flap hanging over. So I changed it to the bigger flap down below and the smaller flap above. So they're really well made. Hopefully there's not a ton of dog hair on these, but I do take a lint brush to them all before they go out the door. I also wanted to show you that I have two different sizes. This is the other size that I have, and I love these. These fit an 8.5 by 11 booklet. They fit your bigger projects, although I love them for the smaller projects. So I try to do some cute trims on them. So anyway, go check out my Etsy store if you like any of these. There's more than this in there too. So those are my bags. So now I've had a lot of questions about the house, and so I wanted to kind of give you just, you know, some basics. I'm going to be looking at my notes because I wanted to make sure I didn't forget anything, and I'm going to be inserting some pictures. These pictures were taken when I was first moving in, so you may see a box. There's not a whole lot of decorations put up. It's not in a place right now that I want to do a tour. There's some things that I want to work on. So hopefully you'll be amazed at the transformation from these first pictures to when you do see it in a tour. But I just kind of wanted to give you something to go on because a lot of you have asked about it, and I understand. I understand completely. So the house is 398 square feet. It is on wheels. It's on a trailer. So it can be moved. It can't be moved by a regular truck or anything like that. You need a big rig. So if I ever want to move, I just pick up my house and go. So that's exciting. I love that. It's a 1-bedroom, and it does have a living room, kitchen, bathroom. It has quite a bit of cupboard space, which is nice. The living room ceiling is 14 feet. And there is a loft, and we'll talk a little bit about that too. It's small, but it's not as small as some of the tiny houses that you see on like HGTV. Those are usually around 200 square feet. So those are micro. Mine's just tiny. But that's where the bug came from. That's where I saw them in the first place. So, keep in mind that there's not a lot of room to decorate in a tiny house. So everything has to be functional. I've done quite a bit that you won't see in these pictures just because these were early on, and obviously I've had a year to kind of make it my own. So this first photo is of the front of the house. And the first thing I did, because I couldn't get the keys to move in, because until the funding happened, they wouldn't give me my keys, which I guess makes sense, but it took a lot longer than I wanted it to. So you spent a lot of time on the outside, which was nice. It gave me an opportunity to, you know, make that my own. So I added the corbels you see here, as well as the decorative accent over the porch. And I made the faux shutters with the little hearts in them. And obviously it's purple. So it's my little dollhouse. I call it the Purple Palace. And I love the porch. I had the porch added. I believe it's 6 feet long, 6 feet from the stairs to the door. And I think it's 12 feet wide. I think the house is 12 feet wide. Since then, I have ground cover put in front all the way around the house. I have one very large planter box on either side of the staircase that is filled with hydrangeas and trailing purple flowers that come out the front of it. So it looks beautiful. And I also have a 10 by 10 foot shed that looks just like the house. So it's painted in the same color scheme. And I just love it. It's like a mini version of a tiny house. So the next picture is from the front door looking into the house. And really, this is the whole house, what you see here. You see the living room. There's about maybe 6 feet that you can't see in this picture. You can see the kitchen. The living room is first, obviously, then the kitchen. Behind the oven is where the bathroom is, on the right. On the left-hand side, behind the refrigerator, is a pantry, and then where my washer and dryer goes. And the door in the very back you see there is the bedroom. I don't have any pictures of the bedroom. The bedroom is very small. I have a queen-size bed in there, and there's about 18 inches all the way around to walk. There is a built-in dresser that's kind of like a bay that goes out at the back of the house. So the dresser's built into that bay. It has a very large closet that goes along the whole wall on one side. And below the closet's kind of raised, and below the closet are 3 drawers that I would say they're probably about 18 inches deep and maybe 2 feet wide and 2 feet deep. 18 inches tall, deep that way. And then 2 feet wide and at least 2 feet deep that way, back. So I keep my shoes in one of those. I keep my linens in one of those. It's very functional the way they have it set up. There are cupboards in the house that I haven't even used yet. So it's been really helpful. I mean, it's been great. You see a lot of cupboards on the right there. There's one that one of the cupboards, the counter space kind of juts out from the rest. That gives me a deeper cupboard space than many of the other places in the kitchen. You see on the right-hand side, that counter that runs from the stove to the jutted out corner that I was referring to. The countertop is only maybe 18 inches, maybe. I don't even think it's that deep. So it's helpful to have that there, but also the pantry that's behind the refrigerator is very deep. It's probably 3 feet deep. So I have some of those pull-outs that I can pull out and put my big pots and pans in there and the things that need more room. So that worked out perfectly too. And really, I kind of helped arrange the kitchen the way I wanted it. You choose the shell and then they kind of ask you how you want it laid out. So that was nice. Now the next pictures that I'm going to show you are 2 pictures of the kitchen. And very similar to what you've already seen, but you can see my farm sink, which I love. All of the appliances in the kitchen are full size except for the dishwasher, which is about 18 inches wide. So it's a little mini dishwasher. But I have a huge sink, so if I run out of room, I have to wash them. Sophie Joe, say hi to the people. The people love you. They want to see you. This is Sophie. Sophie's 3 years old. Sophie's a mutt. She is, I think she is Dachshund. And when I got her, they told me her mom was a black lab, which I don't see. I don't see it. She is the light of my life, other than my kids, of course. She's my princess. Okay, so back to the pictures. I have the farmhouse sink, and I also installed a little chandelier over the sink. I also have a kind of a French country chandelier that I installed in the living room. That's beautiful. I'll have to show you that when I do the walkthrough. So I think that's about it for the kitchen. I almost forgot to tell you the most important part, and that's where I store my craft supplies. So this first picture shows up above, you can see there's a loft. The loft is 150 square feet, but it is not livable space because the ceiling height up there is only about 57 inches. So you can't stand upright up there. But it's a big space. It's 150 square feet, much bigger than the bedroom. Originally, I had thought I was going to keep my bed up there and make the bedroom the craft room, but the bedroom is so much smaller than the loft. Sorry about the Flosstube itchy nose. So it's gonna sound funny, and I know it sounds funny, but I have the room set up that it's my office is up there, as well as all of my craft supplies are up there. I have a large table in the center of the room. I have, it's a large table made of like a dining room tabletop and 2 of those 4 cube bookshelves from IKEA. So I have shelving on either end, and then I have the big tabletop. And what I had to do, because I can't stand up there, is there's carpet up there. So I lined the floor with the mats for office chairs, those plastic mats. So I have those mats all the way around the table, and I have 2 chairs up there, one at my work desk and one at my other desk. And I can get around all the way around the table. So the whole room is lined with mostly those IKEA cubes, but there's also some short dressers and things like that up there with drawers. It's not pretty. It's entirely functional. I think it's pretty, but it's mostly functional. And so I can roll around all the way around the desk and get to where I need to get to. There's no tall furniture up there, obviously. Everything's got to be less than 57 inches. And then there's 3 windows up there, so I actually have some even shorter storage. They're like when you walk in the door, you buy them for when you walk in your foyer and people put shoes in them, things like that. They're kind of a low bench kind of thing. So I have those underneath each of the windows, and then I have the storage units the rest of the way around. So that's how I store all of my craft supplies. That's where I store it, and that's where I work mostly. If I ever have a need to stand up and cut, sometimes when I'm quilting, I'll do that, or if I have a lot of ironing to do or bag making. I have a few tables. I have 3 different size tables that I use downstairs that are foldable, that are collapsible, that I bring stuff down here and I work on it down here. And then I take it back upstairs when I can, when I have, when I don't need full range of motion. So it works for me. I keep whenever I'm working and I'm on a Zoom call, I have to keep my filter, my background on, because otherwise people can tell that the ceiling is only about 6 inches above my head. So, but nobody can tell when the filter's on. Yeah, the sacrifices we make for the things we want, right? So I know it sounds silly, but it works for me, and it is what it is. I make it work, and I love it, and it doesn't put me out in any way. It works fine for me. It works perfectly. So anyway, that was the main point, I think, of a lot of you wanting to know where I kept my craft stuff. I almost forgot to tell you, so I'm inserting this in the video. So that's that. If you have any questions, let me know. Back to the video. Next picture is the bathroom. It's a full-size bathroom with a walk-in shower. I kind of wish I had a tub, but you can't have, you got to make sacrifices. So, I talked about the bedroom already. The bathroom is, it's small, but it's not tiny. You can move around easily. You have room for everything you need. I put that little shelf in there, just to hold like extra toilet paper on the bottom shelf, things like that. So it's very functional. I mean, everything you need is here. And then the last picture is just a little kind of a snapshot of the very first couple of days I was here and the backyard, how the backyard looked. So that's, I call it Sophie's yard. I have a big planter box back there where I have artichokes planted. And last year I grew cucumbers and peppers. And then there's another planter box over to the right that has onions and thyme, sage, and oregano. And I have strawberries on the left there. So anyway, it suits my needs. It is, it looks much better now than these pictures. I will tell you that. I'm very proud of it. I love it to death. You know, I worried that people were going to judge me for not living in a regular home. But this is what I wanted. This is something that I thought about doing for over 10 years. And, you know, just to simplify life. It wasn't something I had to do. It wasn't something that, you know, was my only option. This is what I wanted, and it was a dream of mine, and it's come true, and it's mine, and it's just the way I want it. And so if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask me. I will be happy to answer any questions. If I don't answer them in the comments, it just means I'll probably answer it on the next Flosstube. And that goes for anything. If you have personal questions, if you know, have questions about JoJo here, you will notice that I have a cover on the couch, and you can see why. And I have a couple of those covers. So if you see the couch changing colors, that's why. And I think that's it. I think that's all I have for you. I feel like this one wasn't as smooth as the last one, but it is what it is. Thank you all so much for being here. One thing I wanted to say is my thoughts and prayers, of course, are with Ukraine and the people here who love them, people all over the world who love them. The people who don't want this and are fighting against it are the bravest, most courageous people. What I do want to remind you of is, while we're praying for them, while we're sending them love, while we're supporting them, I hope you'll take a moment to think about how lucky we are. Whether you're in the United States or wherever you are, and you're not dealing with war and your home being torn apart and your family members being killed and sheer terror every day. Just take a moment to think about how lucky we are. We're not perfect, but we're very lucky. So on that note, prayers to Ukraine. Thank you all again so much for being here. I hope this video is way better than the last one as far as editing, and you can see it straight ahead. I hope. Sophie says goodbye, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you so much. Happy stitching. Bye.